And we are going live. So introduce RPG Research and what this is.
Hello and welcome. This is RPG Research. My name is Danielle, and I am going to be running Adventures in Middle-earth, Eves of Mirkwood today. We have just sat at the table and started picking out character sheets, and I'm going to go ahead and go around and have you guys introduce yourselves and your character.
We have an additional character sheet coming up. There's room for 6.
So, John, why don't you start?
I'm John Wilker, and I am playing Trotter, Hobbit of the Shire.
I'm Danielle. I'm playing Belly, Dwarf of the Lonely Mountains.
I'm Jacob.
Lonely Mountain.
Me?
I'm not sure how to pronounce that. What's that supposed to be?
Corinthro? No.
Lifson.
Oh, Lifson.
Liston?
Lifson.
Liston?
If you flip it over...
Lifston.
Okay, the hyphenetical spelling. Oh, gotcha. Liston. Okay, Liston, yes. Yeah, he's an elf. Thanks.
So,
I'm Rebecca. I'm playing the bride, Woodman of Woodland.
I'm Carolyn, and I'm playing Baran of the Mountains.
You're playing...
Baran of the Mountains.
I don't know if I have this. Oh, that's one of... Don't have him on my... I'm gonna pass you a... Can you fill this out real quick? Mm-hmm. All the other ones have one.
I also need a pencil, John.
Dan... Okay.
And a pencil.
Okay. Trotter. Oops, I need this one.
you're allowed to write on these character sheets?
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll be printing out new ones tonight or tomorrow. Right, so we have in order Trotter, Belly, Lixton.
So do you have somebody filling out one? Why?
Because there is not one for her. Unless it's... Oh, it's right here. That was hidden.
I was just saying, they're all there.
I thought they were. But okay, never mind, sorry. And we have the bride, and the bride has a dog. All right.
3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Since we have a full table, is the bride sticking with the standard rule of one or the other can attack?
Yes. So yeah, the bride, you have a dog, and one or the other can attack. And sometimes it makes more sense for the dog to attack. Also, you need a dog character sheet. Which I do have. And the dog gives you bonuses. Please stay aware of those bonuses.
Right here on the character sheet here, where it says actual to hit, that's because the to hit and the damage bonuses aren't accurate here and cannot be updated in the computer, so I have another line here that tells you your actual stat.
So, as you guys know, this is a Middle-earth setting. It has been 5 years since the events of The Hobbit, and we find ourselves in Wilderland, the region of Middle-earth, east of the Misty Mountains and north of Gondor. This includes Lake Down, Erenbor, Dale, Woodsman Town, Thranduil Hall, and the dark vast of Mirkwood. Wilderland is huge territory and a familiar place for some to explore. The dragon Smog is dead, slain by Bard, the bowman, now King Bard of Dale. People all across Wilderland are finding new hope for the future. Trade routes are beginning to reopen, and the free folk of Wilderland are beginning to get to know one another again. King Bard has sent out a summons for adventurers to Lake Town to assist in the rebuilding of the kingdom. You are at the very beginning of your adventuring careers. Each of you have set out on the road in heed of King Bard's call to arms, and have been wintering in Lake Town, or not Lake Town, sorry. Woodsman Town. It is spring. The town is waking from winter. Men and women drag rugs and blankets and beat the winter dust out of them. Knee-deep ashes from fires kept burning all season are cleared from hearths, and collection of firewood begins for the next year. The town is safe. Refuge from the sea of dark, threatening woods. The slow pace of life among the woodmen has you restless. You are all keen to head out into the wider world. You meet on the grassy sward of the market green. Above the green, atop a central hill of Woodsman Town, you all can see the richly decorated Great Hall. Inside is the great legendary lamp of Balthi, and this is where it is kept safe. The great treasures of Woodman Town are also kept there. On the market green, occasionally traveling merchants lay out goods. Pigs, sheep, herders drive their animals into pens. Tradesmen meet to buy and sell their materials and wares, and gossip about their travels. So this is approximately what you guys see.
Okay.
The Dusky River runs east of town and is still swollen with melting water from the mountains of Mirkwood. On a couple of jetties that poke out into the river, fishermen mend their nets, carve out new log boats, and prepare to go fishing. Go ahead and introduce yourselves to your party that you've only slightly met throughout the winter.
I am Trotter. I left my peaceful life in the Shire when I ran away to find Gandalf, the Conjurer, after he paid a visit to my family at a coming-of-age party. He tried to convince me to go back, but I stubbornly refused, and now I have wanderlust. My dreams that I had in the Shire are now my plans for the future. I want to light my broken stem pipe in the halls of Bjorn, the shapeshifter, and walk side by side with the wizard Radagast in the fenced garth of Roscoe Bev. I'm going to visit the royal palace of Dale and see the throne of the king of the Undermountain. I am on my way to Dale, and I've dropped in Woodman Town to resupply before heading onward.
My name is Belly. My father went north to find the hoard of an ancient dragon, but never returned. In his absence, I've been honing my skills to prepare to follow him. He went to Smog and never came back. I think after years of preparing, I think I'm finally ready to make that journey.
Okay. I'm Liston, and I have set forth to fight the darkness and the enemies that lie in the deep, waiting for the world.
I'm the bride. I was born west of the Great River in one of the villages nearest the mountains. I was scarcely 15 when I first saw him, he who would become my groom, at a folk moot held at Mountain Hall in a time when the orcs were sorely threatening my people. Only a few months later, I moved across the river to be near him, as he was from the folk dwelling in the forest. As I waited for my wedding, I learned how to seek a prey among the trees, and my love for the hunt rebelled that for my future husband. One night, only a handful of days before my wedding day, he left with a company of men from the village, refusing to bring me with him, and giving no explanations. Only his faithful hound returned, grievously wounded. When the elders of the village saw the claw marks on the hound, they shook their heads, speaking of the dreaded beast of Mirkwood. I have been heading east, searching for...
Yep, read as much as you want.
I have been heading east, searching for the beast of Mirkwood. Bard's proclamation reached me recently, and I have resolved to head to the lake town and see if I can find help for my quest.
I'm Bran of the Mountains. I was born into a family of shepherds and hunters near the eastern edge of the Misty Mountains. Since I was a child, I felt a great fascination for the high and snowy peaks and spent most of my time climbing and looking for new paths over the mountains. After I met Bjorn and embraced his cause, I chose to protect any friendly traveler that finds himself journeying through the mountains passes in these times of growing peril.
By the way, introduce yourselves as well.
Oh, we did that at the beginning.
Oh, did you? I missed it. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
So on the market green, you guys see a bunch of people. First, and most of them you do know at least something about their name, what they are selling, due to being in the town through winter. So first you see an old guide named Heva. She sits on the edge of the market green on a carved log stool. She is a veteran traveler who used to lead logging parties into the forest. You also see Odo, a shepherd who sells dried mutton as well as fresh meat. Amelia, a merchant from the mountain hall selling axe heads. Old Ingrid, a charcoal burner, trading bundles of charcoal in various sizes. Barald, a rotund, shaggy-haired woodcarver who sits on a patterned blanket carving wooden talismans. You also see a handful of children free from their chores, chasing a ball around with sticks in the open area of town, as elders shout, "Stay inside the stockades," and warning them that they will get eaten by spiders if they stray. The walls of Woodsman Town are built from palisades. They're stout logs sharpened at the top with a bunch of fragments of herbs that can be seen hanging from the walls to ward off evil influences. There is also a mixture of moss that covers them. And what do you guys do? You're preparing to leave.
So, Claire, we already are a group and you're preparing to leave as a group?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we should, everybody have enough supplies. We have rations. We do have the ability to hunt, however.
I have a feature called Foreknowledge.
Foreknowledge, okay.
Yes. Your dreams often grant you riddles, verses, and visions that not only directly aid you on your quest, but also tangentially give you an insight into people and places that may only be peripherally related to your dream.
Okay. So, in your dream, you saw a wooden wolf.
So I'm gonna wake up and I guess I don't always have these dreams, but having woken up and having this dream, I'm thinking to myself, now is probably the time that I should head out. But I'm curious as to the importance of that wooden wolf. Is there anyone in town who is good with portents and stuff like that?
With what? With
certain portents that would be able to help me decipher my dream.
Oh yeah, I do not think there's a soothsayer in town. However, you do know that Brawl, the shaggy-haired woodcarver, has been working on a piece of purple heart wood.
I'm gonna go see how he's doing.
Okay. Well, hello. And on the blanket in front of you, there is a purple heart wolf's head talisman.
I see it, but I don't make it look like I'm looking at it.
Okay.
How are you doing today, fine sir?
I am doing great, just great. I've seemed to run out of wood a little bit, though. This is my last piece.
So, you need more wood?
Yes, I could very much use more wood.
Is there any particular wood that you need?
Just something soft and easy to work with.
I could possibly procure that for you, but...
That would be much appreciated. I have lots of talismans to choose from.
What about that wolf head one?
Well, I would definitely be able to trade that for some more wood.
How much wood would you want for that?
Well, it depends on the quality of wood. If it's a lower quality wood, practically a whole big set of wood. But if it's something that's a finer quality wood, I would settle for less.
Are there any places that you can find where would you normally procure your higher quality wood?
Just outside of town, there is a place off to the south that has plenty of wood. That's usually where I go.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't want you to become idle. I'll go ahead and get you some wood.
Thank you.
I actually have been interested in that wolf head. It looks some of your finer work.
Well, thank you. I will hold it until then.
Thank you. I'll be right back, and I go and procure.
Do you go off? Do any of you guys go with him?
I'll go with him.
Okay. Anyone else?
You look burly. You look like you swing an axe.
You can't.
I'm going to practice my weather lore.
You're okay.
Let's
As
see
a
if what
seasoned
we
traveler,
can
I
bring
have
back.
the uncanny ability to predict the weather. Page 133.
All right. I will tell you more when we get to the next part. Just remind me. Anyone else? Just these two? Okay.
I'm not.
Go ahead and make either a survival check or a investigation check, whichever one. Both of you can do it, or one of you can choose to help the other. So you would get advantage if you choose to help each other.
You seem more of a woodsy person, more refined, and more comfortable with the rigors of social life.
I can definitely chop down some trees for you.
And I'll help
I'm
with.
not sure what.
You're looking for wood. You're going to either use your survival roll or your investigation roll to look, and you'll get advantage because Dan said he's helping
I
you.
have +1 on my survival.
You have a +1 on
So
survival.
both of them are trained
What is your investigation?
Train.
in survival or investigation.
Yeah.
Well, that's a house rule, so you can make your own roll.
I don't see what it is.
Let's see.
They're in alphabetical
Your
order.
investigation is +0.
No.
Survival is +1. Actually, I will go ahead and use my investigation, which is a +3.
Okay. Yeah, you can help him, so that rolls with the. No, you don't need to roll. He's rolling with
So
advantage.
what does advantage mean?
Advantage means that you get to roll 2 d20s and take the higher of the rolls.
Okay.
That's a 7, and yeah, let's go with a 7. 7 plus 3 is 10.
10. All right, you find a very nice tree, and it's very old and very. It has lots of low-hanging branches, and you think that taking back one of the bigger branches that's lower on the tree would work out.
I wanted to see if because it's an old tree. I may not be a highfalutin elf who cares so much about the forest, but I don't want to desecrate them.
Yeah.
I want to see if there's any that have fallen.
Have fallen?
Yeah.
Okay. There is a tree that has fallen, and it looks fairly fresh. So, might have fallen over the last time it rained.
Okay. Well, this one looks nice.
Okay. All right, so you guys take it back.
Start chopping it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're gonna say that you guys are more than capable of chopping up a tree.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we take it back. And Barald gives you the wolf's head and says, thank you very much. That is a lovely tree.
This is nice, but for the amount of wood that we brought back, it seems a bit of a... I'm not saying that this isn't quality work, but is there anything else that we could get?
He has a wooden ring that looks really nice, and other pendant that is just a heart.
A heart. Are any of these
I need nothing.
I get the heart.
Okay.
I give it to you. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So the
And
heart is...
I also have the wolf head, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So the wolf head is a talisman, and it came on a piece of leather. It will give you a +1 to your embarkation roll, or to the guide's embarkation roll, if whoever becomes the guide. That will be more important in just a few minutes. So you guys start to head out of town, and in order to head out of town, yes,
Oh, you're going to introduce her now.
yes,
Okay, I was going to say, you're going to give us a chance to talk to her.
yeah.
Okay.
You pass by Heva. This is your last chance to talk to the seasoned veteran. Does anyone talk to Heva on the way out?
I'm going to gather up the group, and I've had visions, and I feel like it is time for at least me to leave, to head to Lake Town. Are any of you guys interested in coming with me?
Oh, gladly. Let's talk to her and get her advice. What do you two think?
Sounds as long as I get to go out and slay
What's
some
in
evil.
Lake Town?
I don't know. I think it is my destiny.
Lake Town is where Bard is, who invited
I was
everybody.
asking.
Oh,
All right. So do...
Yes, let's head to Heva.
Well, hello! How are you this lovely day?
I feel it is time for me to be moving on.
Most people pass through here.
Yes.
And-
Although the winter has been very nice.
Yes. Well, and now with the roads getting clear of snow and ice, it is quite the time to leave. Which way are you guys planning on going?
I'm thinking Lake Town.
Well, yes. Most people are going to Lake Town, but how... You guys aren't going to do the foolish thing and try and go through the middle of the woods, correct?
Oh, no.
Well, and the old forest road has been so tatters with all of the works lately.
Really?
Yes, goblins. I suggest that you take the elf path out by the forest gate. Or you could take the long way around that usually the merchants and the folk that doesn't take the way to go all the way up and through the mountains.
from here to there and across here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. The elf path has been being kept over by
Here? Okay.
by the
Want to go where?
We want to get to here.
Okay.
So she's saying don't take the old forest road, too many goblins. Don't come up this way, it takes too long. She's saying that we should go up here, up the forest road and cross the elf path.
Yep. And then the other safe ways to go all the way up and through the mountains, but that takes
Around the
twice
mountains.
twice as long as any other way. But that's how the traders and people who don't defend themselves as well usually go.
Wouldn't
It's a
take
lovely route.
It is very pretty.
Wouldn't taking the road with the most goblins and orcs be the best way to test ourselves?
Well, yes, and it's also a good way to end up dead. Because, I mean, you know, spiders and goblins and orcs and everything else, Mirkwood. It's been quite overran.
I've found in much of my travels that even when taking the safest of routes, you are always challenged. There's no need to invite more than we can possibly handle.
Now, in personal knowledge, because I am a local, more or less, I have known lands, and so I have some understanding of this area. The Old Forest Road, the main problem is, even if there weren't any goblin or anything, we have to go through these fens. This is swamp,
Yes.
and that's going to be harder to travel.
I have a lot of fine clothes. I don't want to get them muddied up.
We might be able to get a boat.
It's winter time.
It would be partially
Spring.
Spring.
It'd be it's spring. It's
Early spring. Okay.
So I mean,
Wet
a boat would
and-
be you might get stuck on some ice or yeah.
I may be hardy, but
I vote we take the elf path. Anybody else?
well, hopefully we won't have to deal with too many elves.
Well, the elves
I like
mostly
elves.
stay to themselves.
I like elves.
I'm game for any
And
path we
dwarves.
take.
All right.
Elf passes.
Tolerate humans.
Easy way it is.
All right. So right now,
Easy.
It's
we
not the
need
easy way. It's the pretty way.
we need to figure out who is going to assume which role, and you can have more than one person in each role, or task, except the guide. So that way you guys know what each one does, and we're talking about a guide, a scout, a hunter, and a lookout. The guide is in charge of all decisions concerning the route once you guys embark, rest, resupplies, and a good guide has a high wisdom and the survival proficiency. A good scout is in charge of finding a safe campsite, opening new trails. A scout relies on stealth and investigation. The hunter is in charge of finding food in the wild, and hunters are usually use successful survival checks. The lookout is in charge of keeping watch. The lookout relies on their ability of perception.
I'll be the lookout.
So be a lookout.
I think I would make a good guide because of my known lands ability, and my particular skills. I'm very well suited for the guide.
So we
In fact, it
still
even recommends in my character sheet that I should be the
we
guide.
still need
I
a
would love
scout
to be
and
the
a hunter.
scout.
Okay,
Be the scout.
How many scouts do we have?
one
One.
And we have two. You guys are hunters,
lookouts.
lookouts.
So we need a hunter.
I
Is
will
it-
be the hunter.
All right. So you had another thing about the wolf's head because it's supposed to give you luck on the start of your journey, and you think that possibly giving it to the person who's going to guide you through the journey would make it so that it does help.
Now, my good fellow here.
Yes.
I know this sounds weird, but last night
It's
I had
just your
a-
accent.
What's that supposed to be?
It sounds weird.
It's because I'm not from this land.
Oh, okay. But you didn't have to point it out.
Neither did you. I know this sounds peculiar, but last night I had a very weird dream where I saw this wolf head talisman, but I realized that it wasn't for me.
Oh, okay.
It was for you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So now that you have the wolf's head talisman, I also, because you guys have been all doing a great job embodying your characters, going to give each of you inspiration. Inspiration is something that you can use on yourself or your fellowship focus. that allows you to roll with advantage, or your fellowship focus to roll with advantage, because you are inspiring or trying to make them do better.
Plan on using a marker or something for points that you hand out.
The inspiration?
Correct.
She said we can write on these.
You can write on them.
Sure.
So we just write a
Yeah.
line
Yeah.
on that? Okay.
Yeah.
She's saving the pretty colored ones for the paying clients.
Yep. Sorry. I mean, we can look at the pretty colored ones. So we also at this point need to pick a fellowship focus. So like I said, you pick someone who is you connect with already and have had some interaction. This is a person that when they succeed and do well, you will succeed and do well. When they fail, you fail. So go ahead and choose your fellowship focus and tell me.
Do we have to pick it now?
Yeah. Yep, because it'll affect things as you go along the road.
No one needs to pick though.
I don't quite understand
So,
what you mean.
What is fellowship focus?
Fellowship focus is a person that you connect with right away, and when you start an adventure.
So, one of the players?
Yes, one of the players.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the bride, it cannot be your dog. Because it is not a player character, and they need to be player characters.
Okay.
womp womp. Womp.
Yeah.
Let's say that in the little thing about.
Thought so.
Can't see.
You want to hook up?
Sure.
Okay.
You help me with some logging. Thank you.
Careful with lookouts.
Yeah.
And okay,
Anybody
further.
know?
So, do we write that down somewhere?
Yeah,
Or-
write it. I usually write it at the
Okay.
bottom of your sheet.
And we write the character's name?
Liston
Yes.
is the elf.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't remember what your name is.
Belly.
This connection can be as simple as we're both X, or I get along with X. And I have a sheet that does fellowship focus.
Fellowship focus represents a strong tie between brothers in arms, close kinship, and compatriots. Fellowship focus has two effects in gameplay as sources of hope or sources of inspiration.
Well, Lipson isn't an elf. I don't think we have an elf in the party.
No,
looks like
the elf is
ears.
Corinthiar. It'll say on yours. Who are you?
Is this? Oh,
This is fellowship focus.
the description. Yeah.
It's under culture. It'll tell you where you are or who you are.
Oh, barding.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Now you don't have to.
And
Each person doesn't have to focus on so. If that character is focusing on this character does not have to focus on the same person in return.
Yes.
I am going to focus
Okay.
on the dwarf because the dwarf gave me a necklace.
Okay.
So I really need to succeed because I have two people focusing on me.
Yes. And that can happen. I mean, there are times where someone's vision really speaks to almost the entire party, and everyone will have them as a fellowship focus. Like protect the hobbit or something of that nature.
Yes, protect the hobbit. I completely agree with protect the hobbit.
And your connection can be as simple as protect the hobbit. I like the way this person's role playing so far. My character has given that character something, like we see here. We're both lookouts. We're both guides. All right. So
I'm
now,
gonna use the bride as my focus.
okay.
You know, she's spent a lot of time, and I've heard a bit about her story, and I wouldn't want more misfortune to come across her.
Okay. And Trotter, you said that you were going to do ballet,
Yep.
and
Just so I can make belly barb jokes.
Livston,
the bride.
bride.
Both lookouts.
All right, the bride.
Let's see.
and Baron?
Oh, belly.
No, Belly. Okay.
Yeah, so we're two on belly.
Okay.
One belly, two on the bride.
Yep. Okay, now we need to figure out how you guys leave the town and what it's going to be like for the first part of your journey. So the guide must make a embarkation roll using a D12.
Alright. Now,
You're gonna get a +1 for because of the wolf hidden.
Yep.
and plus 1 for the device.
Yes.
Okay.
So far we have 2,
Right.
and then proficiency bonus is what you're going to add.
If I'm the guide traveling in my region, peril rating is reduced by 2. I have advantage on blighted lands. I cannot get lost. I know at least one place in each region to take a long rest. I have advantage on stealth checks in each region.
All right. So the peril rating is reduced by 2.
Alright, now so I'm supposed to do
So your proficiency bonus?
plus half my wisdom,
Yes.
which would be +1.
Total?
Well, I have a +1, and half of 1 is
1.
0.5, yeah.
Half of 1 is 1 in this case. And then and you don't have a proficiency bonus?
I do, +2.
Plus 2. So that's plus 3 total?
Yeah, 3, 4, +5 total. If you count the other stuff.
Yep. And then I'm reducing the peril rating.
Okay. An 8 plus the 5.
Yep. So 13 total. So, you think, because of your knowledge of the weather and stuff, that it is going to be a beautiful day, and tomorrow is going to be a beautiful day, and the next day is going to be a beautiful day. And there's quite a positive light that you think that you don't know when the next rainy, stormy day will be, but it is nowhere in the immediate future.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood.
And you guys embark with lighthearted, and hearts and a sense of hope. And you feel that it is going to be absolutely a great journey, and not that nothing bad could happen, but you guys will be able to overcome it. And each of you has advantage on your first, until the first time you fail an ability check. So you have advantage on ability checks until you fail throughout the rest of this journey. And then
I'm apparently a very good storyteller.
All right. So your path takes you through beautiful fields. There is a absolutely gorgeous stream that follows the path for quite some time on the first day, and on the second day, you start to see trees, more than just on the side of Mirkwood, but they don't seem as overbearing, and they're just absolutely gorgeous looking to you guys. So at the end of the second day, the scout, you are going to look for a campsite. So go ahead and make an investigation check.
The scout?
The scout.
20.
And plus you get advantage, so you get to roll it twice.
Because it's a skill check.
And what am I rolling?
Investigation.
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 Is that what it says to roll instead of survival?
Yep.
Oh.
And 0.
But you
And then roll again.
Yes.
And yeah, that was a 4. And that is a 10.
A 10 plus what?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
That was +1.
All right. So you guys come to find a spot to camp. It's a ancient ruined building. It's tumbling down, but easily defensible, with plenty of fallen wood for camping and fires. However, throughout the night, there's bumps and growls. Nothing comes out, but you can hear things moving about on the edge of the surroundings. And it keeps you guys in a state of constant awareness, even as you sleep. You awake weary and gain a level of exhaustion. And the guide's arrival roll is subject to a -1 modifier. And
that means she just
exactly that's where I was just addressing.
Okay.
And so, you now, since you failed an ability check, no longer get advantage. The rest of you still get advantage. It's until you fail an ability check. So the next day comes as travel is coming to an end and the sun is westering behind the large trees that run close to the path on either side, because you guys have entered into the elf path and have started going down it. You guys become aware of ancient ruined carvings of stone that are amongst the roots and alongside of the path. Go ahead and roll a wisdom perception roll check. Everyone.
So we all have one level of exhaustion, correct?
Yes.
What's
So
that mean?
well, you guys have a level of exhaustion, which means you have disadvantage. But since you 4 have advantage, it cancels it out. So you just roll once. And Carolyn, you will still roll with disadvantage. So you roll 2 dice. It's just like advantage, except for the opposite, and you take the lower of the 2 rolls.
I like that one.
All right. So let's go around. John?
14.
14. Dan?
10.
Okay.
4.
4.
Yeah.
21.
All right.
4.
4. All right.
I thought you said this was supposed to be sunny. Why is it so grim?
Personal attitudes don't change the weather.
You guys might not be able to see the sun through the thick trees of Mirkwood. So Trotter and the bride both notice a large head that is sticking out of the tree roots. It looks a lot like this. Are you guys going to point it out to your party?
Yeah, see that very large object that we have to walk around that you can't see there? It's a head.
Well, it might be a little bit broken up.
So big that we don't notice that it's...
Yeah. Take a step back and look at this huge thing there. That's...
Uh-huh.
Must be a king or a god or...
I'm having problems seeing the forest for the trees.
See?
Dang, but I'm having a problem seeing the trees through the forest.
Mm-hmm.
My boots are scuffed. Well, I can tell you.
Once it's pointed out, you guys can see the giant head. Go ahead and you guys start walking down the path a little farther, and the ruins become more frequent. However, now there's a little bit of what was once mud and some tracks. Can I get a perception check from everyone?
You don't have advantage.
I have disadvantage.
Oh, you failed one?
Failed.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, and those of you that fail now have disadvantage. You have to roll twice and take the lower of the 2 scores. So that would be everyone but
Slower.
the bride and
Like these dice you gave me.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I'm right there with you.
Oh!
Wow.
Oh! I don't know how to pick.
John, can I get your score?
12.
All right.
I'm noticing the scuff marks on his boots.
1,
3.
3. All right.
I've got mine!
I fail.
Fail. Okay.
Yeah, roll a 1.
8.
Alright,
He's
I
got
think I
mine.
have some polish that may be able to work out. Get some
And-
of the scuff marks out.
I rolled a 1,
1. All right.
and I rolled a 1.
So everyone is
Can I
seeing the
put those
scuff marks.
together?
And get
I wish. Did you guys add your modifiers?
Yes.
Okay.
What's the modifier?
It would be your perception.
That's minus.
Thank goodness for my modifiers.
Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Everyone.
12 isn't enough?
No.
Woohoo!
So what's the goal?
14.
Moving up in the
You go with a
world.
-2 on the
Minus 1.
peril rating?
Oh. Nope, never mind. You did succeed, so you're the only one left. I forgot about that.
No.
It is a 12 to succeed now. Sorry. So, John, you notice that these tracks look a lot like a giant wolf's paw print.
Can I use Shadow Lord to see if I know what it is?
Yes.
Is-
And do you point it out to your party, or do you
I
just start
do.
looking at
And
it?
is anybody here proficient Shadow Lord? Can give me advantage on that?
Shadow Lord.
Shadow Lord.
Let's go here. Oh, yeah. No.
Because I have a +0. And I'm
So you
not-
need to have the circle filled in to be proficient in it.
Nope. Nothing.
Are you sure, Bride?
Yeah, there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Okay.
Nobody's proficient with Shadow Lord.
All right. So, John.
Just a +0. 12 or higher. 3! I have no idea what this is.
Nope. And
I'm
you
pretty sure
failed.
it's a dog.
Yeah, it's a big paw print.
Okay.
And so you pointed it out to everyone?
Yep. Yeah, it's a little dog print, and I no longer have advantage on anything.
Nope.
So I'm back to rolling.
That paw print seems very much like your dog's paw print.
Except for it's really big. Actually, though, the bride, having came from close near this area, go ahead and roll your shadow lore as well, because you might know more.
11.
11 plus minus
Oh, it's okay, so 10.
10. Okay. Although it looks really, really, really familiar, you can't put your tongue on it. But it does make you feel
Go with
even
the problems.
more depressed.
Pretty big.
It is very big. And you really, 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 really think you know what this is, but you can't put your
Finger on it.
put your finger on it.
Fingers better than putting a tongue on it.
Yes.
Same with the paw print.
So it's getting to be dusk, but you guys advance and a little bit further on because you're looking for a campsite. Go ahead and put this out. So you're coming in from the side closest to the tree. Yep. So as you advance from the thickets around bursts goblins. Spears at the ready. Oh yeah.
Do you have some goblins?
Yep, we have some goblins. Can I get everyone to roll an initiative?
No, do we have goblins?
Yes. I have goblins.
Is this with disadvantage as well?
This
No,
is not.
none of my rolls are. Didn't roll the dice.
You shouldn't have.
Should have, actually.
Shouldn't have.
Actually,
Oh, thank God.
Ay, ay.
What do I got? Oh, I'm slow.
I'm gonna give. Okay.
I'm on a 7.
All right. Go ahead and spread those out throughout the map. Two closest to you guys, though. I'm off by 1. Give me the farthest one away. Sorry. All right.
Does our person in cyberspace have any questions?
Oh yeah. Does anyone have any questions?
Is he
We don't have a
anymore?
screen to tell us if there's anybody there or
yeah.
anything.
I never forgot about him, but is he still there listening?
Shane?
Okay.
Hello?
Are we even on? I can't tell if we're broadcasting or nothing.
It would be that back computer.
Well, obviously it's black on the monitor. Because you close that one and shut off the thing, so we may not even be broadcasting.
Wait, this isn't the one that was broadcasting, is it?
Yeah, Hawk says we're.
I didn't.
Told us that you were going to.
Alright, Hawk is the only one in Jitsi, which means we have nobody.
What was that?
Shadow.
Oh, somebody just popped on. They have a gear as their image.
That would be Shane.
Hi, Shane. Any questions, concerns, smile, or comments?
Amazing.
Is that them like entering and leaving?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds weird.
Any
I
questions
thought
or
it-
concerns from the people that are actually playing?
I'm concerned about my disadvantage on everything.
Well, it's not everything. It's ability checks. And those are
I rolled a 4 or a 3.
You rolled a 3. I rolled a 4.
Me too.
But I
For
also
you,
have
I
a-
rolled.
okay.
but I also
So
have 2.
we need to do. So does everyone have a roll for?
Oh, we still have disadvantage on this.
No disadvantage. It's not an ability check.
I just lost my brain.
Yep.
That would suck.
Initiative.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start off. Anyone above 20?
Woohoo.
Right.
I'm at 20.
Well, that's not
Okay.
above. Okay, good enough.
19.
Oh wait, no, I'm at 24.
Oh, he's
okay.
at 24, so we got he's first.
19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14.
Anybody above 10?
Anybody above 10?
No.
9, 8, 7,
7.
6,
6.
5.
I miss many.
All right.
So I'm guessing between me and whoever else, there's a character called Lag.
Lag?
Yeah.
All right. So you burst into the clearing.
I'm going to. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm irritated.
It is the end of the day.
I'm going to pop
You're
one of the
exhausted.
goblins with it. Like, not now.
Okay, so go ahead and roll to hit.
Let's see.
Because of exhaustion, is this disadvantage?
No, that is only ability checks.
Okay. Do I get any advantage because they haven't seen us?
No, they've seen you.
Okay.
Do we have clear sight of everyone, or are we behind bushes?
You're coming out into the open, so you can see what's going on.
What's that big thing that goblins stand in front of?
That is the tree. And standing on the tree can give you some bonuses. Let's go ahead and build up the tree with these guys.
You stand on the tree when you got people in front of it.
Well, you'll have to kill the guy in front of it and climb up on the tree.
So we can use it as defensive cover or from a fighting.
So they have the sense of cover.
So, creatures on the tree trunk can gain a +2 modifier to shove at the things below. And it uses a full movement action to climb up onto the tree. But it gives advantage on attack rolls. but +2 to shove people below.
So after I fire at the goblin and miss, I'm then going to dive into the thicket to get cover.
Okay. Next are the goblins. The one closest to you guys runs up to the bride. Or, yeah, not the bride. Who's that?
Get him, dummy.
Bride, yeah. And with his bent spear, or not bent spear, bent sword, he does 2 damage. All right. Next is the bride. Now, either you or your dog can take an action, but you both have movement.
Okay.
And if you disengage from, which is moving away from either you or the dog, from the goblin, the goblin gets an attack of opportunity.
Provokes an attack of opportunity.
Technically speaking, disengage means that you're doing nothing but getting away, and you don't get attack of opportunity.
Oh, sorry.
So if you move away from the goblin,
Yeah.
without using the disengage, then the goblin gets an attack of opportunity.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up my great axe.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the hit.
It's going to give him a splitting headache.
So that 10.
Is that what you rolled?
6.
Okay, 6 plus 4. Okay.
Got it.
You swing your axe, and the goblin just barely moves back, and just enough that it does not hit him. All right. Do you want to move, or do you want the dog to move?
No.
No. Okay, Trotter. And Trotter, because you are considered small, you can move throughout your fellow individuals without having a penalty.
I can just run through their legs.
Yep.
I'm assuming I can't do that to the dog or the dwarf.
Nope, not the dog or the dwarf.
Yeah. Well, the dog is huge. I mean,
Dog
that's
is huge.
Just my dog scale. Go ahead and move me up. Here, I'll just move me up. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20. Get behind here for some cover.
Okay.
And I'm going to fire at this guy here so he can't run up on anybody. And let's see, that's a +5 with my short bow. Come on, nat 20s. Or a nat 9. +5, that goes
14?
14.
You hit.
Right. So I do 1d6 + 3 piercing. I do 4 piercing.
4 piercing. All right. Which of these do you hit? And describe him a little.
He's got his bent sword held above his head and his yellow skin.
Okay. All right, and that. Let's see. You hit him for 4?
Yep. I hit him for 4.
All right. Liston.
I happen to be kind of in the. Well, I guess I'm not really back. Let's see.
And it's double your movement to move through people, so that's the only.
Well, I don't have to move after anybody.
Okay.
Oh, this one's good. I can attack with Jason. Get
Yes.
squares. Okay, so I guess I'll move up with sword and shield in hand and attack.
All right.
I missed 9.
9. All right. It is your turn.
Yeah. I'm going to use my bow.
Okay.
And
Are you gonna move up, or are you gonna stay where you are?
no, I think I'm going to... How do I figure out how far I can shoot?
Your range on a... Is it a short bow?
It's a great bow.
It's a great bow. So I do believe it's 100 feet. 60 to... Or
Oh, so
20 to 100 feet.
Good. I can hit any of them.
You can shoot anybody on the map.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to try to... I'm going to get the guy closest to us with the sword.
This guy?
No, the other one.
This one?
No,
You guys
okay.
got
The yellow one that I was aiming at.
The yellow one that you were aiming at. Okay. We'll call him Yellow.
yellow. Okay,
You're the
yellow.
guy.
I'm hitting yellow. What? Yes. And she said I wasn't in cover, so...
You are shooting through the...
If this is shooting through the brush, then
Yeah,
it's in
there
cover.
is some cover.
Then
Sorry.
I need to... Can I step forward?
Yes, so
I have
it'll be...
better...
Just right up to the edge.
Because
of the
that's why I
brush?
asked that earlier.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that you were planning to shoot from off. I didn't realize that you were off.
Off the map.
Yeah.
20!
Yay!
Okay.
So you
So that was a 22.
you hit. Go ahead and roll your damage.
It's 7.
All right.
Double?
What do you mean double?
Oh yeah, because you got a nat 20.
Not 20.
Oh.
So it's double.
So
We do
is
double
it double
for this roll.
for the
It's-
roll or double for the
We
whole thing? Double for the
house
bonus?
rolled that you get your first die, right?
Well, that's a decision we have to make for the thing, but the way I taught you guys to do it, so house roll is that you maximize the first die and you take the other one. But
Yeah.
rules as written is you roll 2 dice.
Yeah, just do it as rules as written for this.
So
Okay,
double
go
dice.
ahead and roll your damage die again.
And add it on there.
Yep, and don't add your
The 2 only gets added once.
exactly.
I gotcha. Ooh, another 6.
Nice. So that is 13.
13.
That
With your bonus too.
I had a +2. Yeah.
that is a very dead orc. Go ahead and lay him down. Or not orc, goblin. Sorry.
All the related.
Yeah, they're both
Not
green
orc.
sometimes. They're about the same color palette.
Soon enough, they'll all be related.
Ballet. Back to the start. Ballet.
Okay, I am going to pop out from cover, fire at this goblin.
Okay.
Does that take a feat or anything like that to shoot into combat? 'Cause that's pretty close to. Is there a clear line of sight? Am I just-
There's
I think I
I
only
missing?
take disadvantage if I'm within melee and firing.
right. So the only penalty rules is written for firing like this, unlike 3rd edition, is that if rolls an @1, DM can say, "Oh, poor dog."
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah. If there's like 2 or 3 people, I can say that you can't see them.
You can definitely give cover.
Yeah, and I
I'm just trying to
definitely
figure line of sight, because from where I am is, but I guess the dog
Yeah,
is
it's-
technically back up.
And-
That's square. Yeah. Okay.
and the dog is not as tall as it appears.
Have you seen the illustration?
I mean,
It actually.
actually, it is as tall as it appeared. Never mind. I forgot about that.
It's a big old warhound.
23.
That is a hit.
And because I have because there's an active enemy next to that target, I get sneak attack.
Okay.
So,
An active ally next to the target.
yeah. I have multiple active allies.
Was it a nat 20? Too?
No, I wasn't
Okay.
actually.
No.
I wish.
You get a roll.
9 points of
Nice.
damage.
9 points of damage. You seem to do what all of your companions who are directly surrounding it can't. And you used an arrow, right?
Yeah.
The arrow.
Can I launch a tree instead?
Can you what?
Launch a tree.
Launch a tree? No.
Arrow.
It's a very thick arrow. We'll leave it at that. The arrow buries in the goblin, and it is dead.
Okay.
All right.
And I'm going to use the rest of my movement to drop back into cover.
The goblins in okay, so the short green Dobby looking goblin.
This one?
No,
Nope.
Dobby.
This
Closer.
Nope.
The other one.
Yep, there we go. He moves to the end of the tree.
So here?
One back and towards the tree a little more. There we go. And each of them in the back loose an arrow, and they all plink at your feet. The first goblin then drops his bow, the one with the curved blade above his head, and pulls out his curved blade and moves forward 20 feet towards the party.
So this guy?
You only have
Nope.
20 feet of movement?
5, 10.
No, not that guy, the other one. No, he just doesn't want to get all the way close.
This one?
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20.
Yep. He wants to get close, but not quite there. All right, the bride. Do you or DOG make the attack?
Well,
I don't-
they're not engaged.
Yeah. No, but you can only use one or the other. But so you had out your great axe.
I'll go up to that goblin and attack my great axe.
Okay.
At AiMe.
19. All right, that hits.
8.
8. All right. Your great axe takes off that goblin's head. And Trotter.
Okay. I don't have line of sight anybody, so I'm going to move up here and just peek around the corner so I get to all this nice cover, and I put a hole in Dobby's head.
Okay.
At least that's the plan. Last roll at the tower. 17 plus 3, no, plus 5, 22 to hit.
He was trying to miss.
Yeah. I will allow that.
Fumbled on
He
his
actually
dice.
missed.
All right.
Yeah, and
You
it showed.
hit. Go ahead and roll your.
Okay.
Nobody noticed.
6 plus 3.
So 9.
Yay!
You sneak attack. That goblin doesn't know what happened. He just falls over.
And since I have movement left, I'm going to make myself out of line of sight from that guy.
Okay. And now it is Lipston's turn.
I'm going to use that tree.
So I guess I'll just move up here. That's what I like to do.
You know, throw a rock at him?
Is that...
That's just at the edge of the... That's
Yeah, you have a 25 speed.
not 30.
30? Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the wrong character. Sorry.
So,
Yeah, I think you can go farther than that. Can you count it out? Yeah, 6 squares. Oh,
You double move.
you can double move if you
Can't
want
attack,
to.
just that's all I'm doing.
But you
Another
can
option
hit
you
if
can
you double
do
move, right?
okay, you have a couple more options. Even if you can't physically hit him, you can dodge, which means he'll have disadvantage on attacks against you.
I don't have dodges of feet though.
No, you don't,
You don't
have,
need
it's not
to.
a feat. You just declare, I'm dodging. That's
It's-
your entire action.
I don't want to. I just
Or,
prepare for battle.
right, or, well, if you prepare a battle, you're ready in action, which means you can say, if he comes within my sword reach, then I'm going to hit him. And that,
But I don't have
That it would be like, and these are, what are they called?
there's standard actions that anybody can take. You
Yep.
can ready in action. All you're doing is waiting for him to come closer.
It's kind of like knocking an arrow and waiting for someone to become visible.
I just move.
You can just move
So
and
you
do
can
nothing.
do that and-
That is up to you.
Okay. That almost seems like if I ready my action, that's taking an action itself.
Yeah.
It literally is.
Yes.
Okay.
But so your action
Yeah.
is that you ready the action, and that's the only thing you're allowed to do is that attack that you declare. You have to say
I
what
can
the
do this
trigger
because
is.
I moved in within my. I only moved in my.
Yeah. So if you move,
Sure.
if you do the double movement, then you use your
I
action.
can't do it. Yes.
Yeah.
Then I just ready an action.
Okay.
Where did that?
So, and when you ready an action, it's my trigger. He moves within melee range, and my action, I will hit him with my sword.
Yep. So,
That's
all right. Baron.
What are you doing?
I'm using my arrow.
Okay. And yeah, you have line of sight.
Yes.
Yeah,
Direct line of sight.
direct line of sight.
Okay, that was a 6 plus 2, so 8.
You put an arrow in the tree behind him.
Okay. Alright.
All right. Now we start back over at the beginning. Belly.
Okay.
Belly to belly, back to
Goblin
back.
do something?
What?
Doesn't the goblin do
The goblin is after.
He already
Yeah,
went.
yeah.
No.
The goblin. So if you can look here, the goblin rolled initiative and is
Okay.
here in the turn order.
So I'm going to.
Yeah, they all fire arrows in this.
So that's
I'm going to hide in these bushes and sneak up this way. So
10.
The double movement to go through the bushes.
10,
Mm-hmm.
20, and then.
Yeah, because we have 25.
Actually, I have cover here, so I'm gonna 10,
5.
5, 10, 15, 20, and I'm hiding.
Okay.
So, stealth check. With disadvantage.
Yep.
$18.
All right.
Good.
Yeah. Even members of your party do not know where you are.
Okay.
I don't know where anybody is. I'm hiding behind a log. I don't see anybody.
All right. Now it is the goblin's turn. The goblin tries really hard to hit Lifston and cannot do it with his bow. As a matter of fact, he throws it to the ground and runs up to him. Now you can take your attack.
Total of 15.
15. All right. That is a hit.
Smart goblin would have ran away. They're goblins.
Yeah.
A total of 8 damage.
All right. And that goblin drops to the ground. How do you kill him?
How do I kill it? I stab it, and then as it goes to the ground, I just put my boot on it and wiggle my sword around a little bit, give it a couple twists, pull it out. It seemed to be stuck a little bit.
Stuck on that stern.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
You sure that was the proper hole?
Put boot on it, wiggle it around a little bit, draw it out, wipe it off on him, of course.
Because it's got it's my axe and it's
Just hit it
pretty
when the sword gets stuck in the bone. You gotta fish it out.
All right. On the other side of the towards the exit to the clearing, you guys see 3 dwarves who have just slaughtered just as many goblins as you guys have. They're just finishing and are walking towards you.
Brothers!
How can you tell?
I take a step back to get partial cover from the tree and stand on guard during the fight.
Oh,
I have no idea who these people are.
yeah. They start and they go, yeah. At least one of them does. The other one nods his head, and the last one also goes, ah. They start wiping off their swords and holstering them. The first to walk up to you is is what appears to be the leader of the 3. He's a snowy-haired, wily dwarf. He stands about 4 feet tall and is wearing a dark gray cloak and has an eye patch over his left eye. Hello, great fight. My name is Snorri.
I am Belly.
And he shakes your hand. This here is Bori. Bori is the youngest of the trio, stands about 3 feet 9 inches in height. He wears a green cloak with a golden tassel on the hood. His hair and beard are red and shorter than the normal dwarves you see traveling. And when he shakes your hand, he shakes it really vigorously and for a really long time.
Is E a dwarven clan name? We have Snorri, Bori, and Belly. Is that your clan name?
The E is the clan name.
No. That's not how it works. They just like the alliteration.
And this here is Har.
He's not from Ireland.
Har is that Hari?
Har has his hand. I'm sure it's not Hari because of the way he talks.
Okay.
Har is the tallest of the three. He stands about 4 foot 6 inches tall. Wears a blue cloak over dull gray corselet of mail. Har's hair is iron gray, and his beard is kept neatly combed. Har carries an axe and a broad-bladed knife that both hang from the belt that you guys can see. He also keeps his hands in his pockets, and is all that you get from him.
Is this the legendary Har of the House of Har, of the clan of Har? Har, har, har.
He stares at you.
I've heard that you don't like that joke.
Hardy, har.
They are a hardy group.
Hardly.
Snorri says, "Why don't you guys come back to the cave that we've been staying in? We have some pig and some ale, and
You had me at pig.
do you guys go?
I heard bed, and I'm tired.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Is there an equivalent sense motive for this one?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Insight?
Insight is sense motive.
Yep, sense motive.
13.
So you know that they just want to enjoy
It
the
seems
spoils.
genuine.
Yeah.
Just want to have fun.
However, at the mention of the pig, you notice that Snorri kind of flinches a little.
Okay.
Which one's Snorri?
Snorri is the youngest, the one that shook hands too vigorously. And as a matter of fact, if you guys follow them,
Sure.
all right.
Genuine.
So we got grumpy dogs. Okay.
As you enter the cave, Snorri immediately goes to rotate the pig on his spit. The smell is phenomenal. Go ahead and roll your brain is not coming up with it.
Constitution saving throw.
Yeah, Constitution saving throw.
That's a saving throw, so that's
Everyone?
not a disadvantage.
No,
Everyone?
everyone.
Ooh.
I have dwarven resilience advantage against the poisons. Do I need to use that?
No.
19.
9.
21.
7.
All right. All of you just very much enjoy the smell. However, who got the 9? Sorry, the bride? Or
Baron
9?
got it. Yeah, it's a low number.
9 and 7. If you got below a 12, your stomach growls loudly. It has been a long day. Yeah. And
I'm a
That's gonna put us in a trance.
nope. Snorri starts to pour ale. Ooh, who needs some ale?
I need some ale.
All right. So you drink it. Anyone else get a glass? Okay.
Oh my god, they have
A mug.
pints.
Yeah.
Do you have anything larger than a pint?
Not with us. Only, but you can stand here and fill it up as many times as you'd like.
I have my spot.
Okay.
He's under the keg.
All right. So, The bride has not told me whether or not she drinks. Okay. So he pours mugs for each of you, except for the bride, who has politely declined. And Har is sitting in the corner, and he's been eyeballing you while you guys have been drinking ale and talking a little bit about your travels. And he looks directly at the bride. Do you like riddles? The poor. Okay.
You're doomed.
The poor have it, the rich need it, and if you eat it, you will die. What is it? Anyone?
Can you say it again?
The poor have it, the rich need it, and if you eat it, you will die. Anyone but John.
Who knows all the riddles?
I know precisely what this is. It is what is in my stomach.
Here?
Nothing.
Very, very true.
I have a riddle for you.
All right.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
I want to roll for that one.
Okay, go ahead and roll a riddle lore.
Yeah,
With disadvantage.
Yes, you do. Can you get lower than 2?
Yes.
Yes.
That would be a 7. I have no idea, and neither does anyone else.
Does anybody not know why a raven like a writing desk? They both have quills.
That is a good one. I have one more. A head, I have one. A tail, I have one. No body, I have. What am I?
I ain't got no body.
Mm-hmm.
A head and a tail, but no body.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Yes. Great job. They continue on for a little bit and go and pour more ale. And then Bori takes out his whistle and Har produces a drum. And the dwarves begin to sing.
Ooh, maybe Hockey can do that.
That's harder than the solo.
I was gonna say that. I'm like, and I'm slightly tone deaf, so that would be fun, especially since
that's a myth, except the fact that there are really deaf people. So how could that be a myth?
Well, slightly tone deaf mostly means that I don't practice my ability to differentiate notes. I can't always tell them apart.
10 minutes.
10 minutes. All right. The mountain was young, the valley green, such a place they'd never seen. They came from far, they came from wide. With hammer and pick, they delved inside. The door and stone, window and silk carved open the door to the riches lying near there and bore. A many-pillared hall of stone, they mined and dug out their new home. The delver dug, the pick gave sound. Rupees, emeralds, opals found. When door and stroke carved open the door to the riches lying near there and bore. A sturdy hearth, a golden throne, plates of gold, thick walls of stone. A row of warriors, stout and proud, a girt for battle, heads unbowed. When door and stroke carved open the door to the riches lying there and poor. None heard his wings, none felt his breath, but a hard north wind brought with it death. The lintel broke, the stone floor cracked. The treasures of the hearth and home were sacked. When Doran's dog carved open the door to the riches lying in heaven board. And at this point, Snorri runs back to the pig and takes a fleck off and checks, and it is done. Yes. And you guys are free to come up and carve off of the pig what you would like to eat.
Tear off a leg, give them the leg, take the rest.
I haven't had seconds, 11sies. Come on.
You know, suffer.
Right, and you guys enjoy the pig, and
I traced the pig with some of my sugar.
nice. And at this point, we're going to wrap up because it's a good stopping point. So the next activity takes for...
Yeah, you got 5 minutes left. So this is a good time to go ahead and do the feedback portion then. Because first of all, have the players talk about their player experience.
Yeah.
I go a lot.
Okay, so we'll go opposite of the way we've been going. Carolyn, how do you feel?
I enjoyed it.
Now, have you played this character before?
I have not.
So how was it? Because you played this adventure before, right?
I have.
Yeah. So last time did you play the bride?
I
Or?
did.
Okay. So how do you like playing this character versus the last character?
I like these characters more.
Okay.
More kind of fight.
Yeah.
You know.
Rebecca? Now, have you played any of this before?
I haven't played this
Okay. So what was your experience of it with the D&D and North and all that?
I don't know what kind.
Well,
That's okay. You're
being someone
new to
who's
this, that's okay.
not done this before, was it fun for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
What have you played before?
Super 2.5
Okay.
and Starfinder.
Okay. All right.
And this is based on 5e.
This is basically D&D 5e.
Yeah.
So what did you think of it? Because it's generally a
Yeah.
simpler system than
Yeah.
3rd edition.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you think of being
So
simpler?
that's makes it easier on the head.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to think so much.
Did you like that, or do you miss having more complexity?
I guess it just depends on. Like right now, it's the simple.
Okay.
Get into something new. So.
Jacob.
I played this campaign, and I played it with all of you guys before. I don't remember how far we got in this one. Actually, we ran this one multiple times, didn't we?
Yeah, we've gotten all the way
intro
through.
training one, yeah.
So, we've gotten to here, right?
I don't remember how far we've gotten. It's been probably a year or so, or more, actually, to play this system. I don't remember this system as well.
I should think so.
The advantage and disadvantage thing is cool. It was, but again, I just haven't played this particular system that long. My character, I like this character. I would have liked to flesh him out a little longer and get to know him a little better.
Okay.
But for what I dropping in and learning it, seems just fine.
All right. Well, if you're able to make future sessions, you might be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, because we're Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for these. Monday, Thursday.
Yeah.
Saturdays are always GM workshops. Mondays, although we're going to do it Sundays at some point. And the Mondays and Thursdays alternate between theory and applied gaming.
Gotcha.
And then we do our community programs every Friday.
Yeah.
And those are open as well from 4 to 7.
Character
Probably
sheets
work
and the
issues,
logic.
but, like yesterday, we were at the corner of Market and Empire with the bus.
Yeah, those are your
Oh,
worksheets.
nice.
Near the zips there.
How did that get many people turn out?
No, but people came up and asked questions and such, and that's what we're hoping for because it's busy traffic. And
Yeah.
we're still kind of getting. We said we got floodlights we're building and all that, so
Yeah.
there's kind of a process. But they worked on us a little more. And then of course we're twice a week at Spark Central
Yeah.
downtown, and then now we're at the libraries. The
Twice a week?
Twice a month. Sorry.
Twice a month.
Twice a month. And then, so coming up next week is Spark, and then after that we're going to be at the Deer Park County Library. We do different libraries on the third Friday.
How's that been working out?
That's been pretty good. When we stay there, it builds up over time. And then we're looking at adding a Saturday Valley and a few other places, so Fridays and Saturdays. So, yeah, it's Spark Central's the busiest because it's downtown, and we just never have enough game masters for that one. At that point, we have 5 tables and still need 6.
Jeez.
And then
So it's gotten.
we had to say no too many times, and so we lost a lot of people. But it's always.
How has the traffic been affecting the game? Has the traffic been affecting the game?
Because I'm gonna.
As far as immersion, just the distraction.
When the GMs are first starting out, they struggle with that.
Yeah.
Once they get the hang of it, the players get enough flow that they tune it out. Like I would literally drop bricks and stuff and see how they react, and they're in enough flow state they don't even notice. So when the GMs are doing their jobs and they've got enough practice, the kids tune out and the adults tune out completely the noise. And that's part of how we do our scale. We do it off the scale. So yeah, once the GMs are in the practice doing this, like Shane just started, who's remoting in. Shane just started doing that at Spark and had some challenges with that particular group because they're challenging. And so the first hour struggled, and then once he kind of got them to use the talking stick and pay more attention and buckle down, then I got into it more. Danielle had to deal with them when she came back from her internship. A couple of them.
That was yeah. They really like to cheat. It's not
So you gotta really keep an eye on them. But yeah, no. Even though it gets noisy, sometimes once the game gets going, they're in it. So it works out okay. The only exception is we had one on the spectrum who couldn't handle the noise. And I really wish I wish the mother had let me have a conversation and said we could have run that in the bus because the bus was there, and we could have taken it into the bus and flown in a quieter environment. So that was the backup.
I'm trying to get around and experience all of the characters. I like Billy. I was trying to stay consistent with my voice.
You did good with the
You did fine on that, yeah.
I was trying to find a balance of the dwarf, but not just grin, but also the bit of the more wealthy end.
Yep.
So I was having fun.
Good. John.
Did you apply? As a player?
I tried to. I was focusing on other things more than my character. But yeah, I enjoyed him.
And Danielle, what did you notice about the group and then on your end?
I noticed that the group was, we didn't do any archetypes. I noticed that.
The players were being an archetype?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And I kind of figured that after you left that I wasn't going to be dealing with archetypes this time.
Nice.
Yeah, it is really nice because I'm trying to prep for this next weekend. I feel like I need to practice that too, but I really needed to get a better grip on this game again.
Ran this one?
Since I came back from my
So
internship.
you had a 4-month internship.
Yeah.
So I was gone for 4 months and didn't run this at all.
But overall, though, how familiar are you with this campaign?
I'm pretty familiar. If you look at how many times, probably somewhere in 2-3 dozen times I've ran this.
No, this one? No.
From practicing, but from before. But since I came back, I've only ran it 5
I don't
times.
think you ran it that much before.
Yeah, because I ran it at Spark over and over again. And then I ran it for us at least 3
I think
times.
you did a lot more No Thank You Evil and Lost Minds than you did.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't think you
Okay.
ran these very much.
Plus, I've ran it at home a few
I
times.
was running
At most
at
half a dozen
Sparks.
times before.
Okay. Well, before I left?
Yeah, before you left.
Okay. So that's about a dozen. I would say, yeah. And then I ran it at home too a few times before I left, so.
Okay. What did you notice you need to work on?
Well, the first thing that I did better is I had I did use my tracking sheet,
The roster?
my roster,
Okay.
a lot more, and I thought that was really good.
Keep track better.
It helped to keep track
Imagine
better.
that. If I could just get all the GMs to do that.
I'm working
I
on it.
know you are. I'm not picking on you. I'm talking to GMs in general.
Yes.
So.
Well, and I think it'll be easier once we have established.
Standard printed out one.
Yes.
I'm working on it.
Well, and I thought I was
established
also
group
doing that too for this, and you could. That's why I wanted to have that meeting on Thursday. I thought I did do ums and ahs, but not as many as
So
yesterday.
it's mostly with your narrations at the beginning that you do it a lot.
Did you count?
A dozen or more times in the first 6 minutes. And then in the next 5 minutes, it was only half a dozen times. And as you get going, it
Okay.
reduced. You do it a little bit, but a little bit's okay. So it's a little bit's not that big deal. But when it's a dozen times, and that's basically
When they
a couple
become
of
common.
minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
So keep working on it. Keep working on it. It's getting better. But
Okay.
what else?
This one became a
Well, instead of how about well?
Okay, well,
Yeah, use other fillers. It's better than ums and ahs.
I actually thought it ran pretty smoothly.
Okay,
I did take some pauses, but those were purposeful.
understood. Stop the ums and ahs.
Yeah.
And pauses are good for dramatic effect too. So that wasn't a problem. Okay. What else did you notice? What could you improve on?
I feel like I need to run AiMe more in different,
Yes,
even like different things
you
because
get more of a feel for that.
I need more of a feel for the system in general. Because I do know a lot of things, but I sometimes
Anything
space
else?
them. I needed to remind them to use their inspiration.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't think that.
John?
I did that on purpose, sorry. Okay, so first of all, pace. Now, I know we had a really short time limit here.
Which means you speed up the pace rather than slow it down.
But when you are running it for this next group, you don't have to finish the module in the first session. So feel free to spend more time in Woodsman Town and actually
Yes.
interacting with the NPCs.
Yeah, with the school you can do that because it's an ongoing thing. If it was a one shot, you pretty much want to skip it.
Yeah. And I think I found a middle ground for like
Well, for this,
2
I
or
would have
3
skipped
hours.
it because I would have wanted to get further along in the story for doing a one shot. I would have skipped it.
But
Okay.
this is prep for the others, so I
Understood,
wanted to get
understood,
at least
yeah.
a little bit.
Okay.
Then when we're skipping things, the interaction, you get the wolf's neck and the advice, but the fact that we're a group, I think that can be done right at the beginning. You guys have formed together and have
Yes.
decided to travel together.
Okay.
Set that, and
Yes,
then also
especially with this group where they're going to mill around forever.
Okay.
Not you guys, but these ones we're talking about. At-risk groups.
and
Well, and I thought I kind of did that. I said that you guys have met up, or
you guys have barely met.
She did, but
yeah.
We introduced
really,
ourselves.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's good, but really emphasize you guys are all a group, you're friends, you're together,
Okay.
like really hammer on that.
And then immediately introduce the fellowship focus at that point.
Okay.
Read from the sheet.
Okay. I was giving them some time to get to have some interactions.
I would start off with them already picking who they're feeling, and that would change how they interact with each
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
other. When you showed the black and white picture of the town,
I debated on whether to find it in this, but it was in another.
I would suggest either using the color book or printing color ones. You can't see them.
Okay.
What you're showing me is this. Isn't that a pretty picture of the mountains? Like, okay, I take your word for it. That's
So what
not.
you're saying is if you're going to use a prop, use a better prop or
Yes.
lean more.
Or if you have to use the black one, hand it out so everybody can see it.
Okay. Okay. So describe your prop a little better.
It took you a little while to introduce what the town looked like, but I felt comfortable when you finally did that. So I marked that off.
Well, Well, and I was giving you tidbits as you were going along as to what the town kind of looked like.
Right, I know. I did hear the herbs this time.
Yep.
Dan was a little dominating. I heard very little interaction from this corner here.
Okay.
You gotta watch for that. Really, really gotta watch for that.
When you're assigning tasks, I'm not sure you made it clear which skills. Okay, so you listed all the things, and then what their skills were, and then you had people choose. If you had went, okay, we need a guide, and these are the things. Who's the guide? We need a scout. These are the things.
Okay.
Because she became the scout and had no bonuses for investigation. He has a bonus for investigation, and he should have been the scout. It's okay also to choose the wrong people.
Yeah.
But we would not have been at disadvantage throughout most of this if this one had rolled the same number with its +3. Remember that if you have the guide if Trotter's the guide, your DC is 12, not 14 anymore.
And I wrote that on my.
It's hobbits rule.
If this hobbit does, he's the ultimate guide.
I think that's a racial thing.
Actually, mainly the reason he's the best is because he's a wanderer.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
When you introduced the goblins,
Yes.
we were wandering along and the goblins jumped out.
Yes.
Well, I said you come up to a clearing and then.
Right. So the reason we went into the clearing is because we heard sounds of combat.
Which I forgot to say.
And the goblins rolled for stealth to see if they can get the surprise attack. on
I
us.
did roll for the goblin stealth.
And they were lower than the.
They were like an 8. 8, if I remember right. Which is way lower than all of your guys' passive perception.
And just for future reference, then, so I'm glad you rolled for it, and you didn't tell us, which is also good. You didn't know that people are doing that. But if some of us, so let's just say you rolled a 13.
Yeah.
I have a 15 and he has a 12. I'm not surprised, but he is.
Yep.
And there is no surprise round, remember?
Yes.
Okay. The song,
Yes.
Doran's Stroke.
Oh.
It's folk.
I said stroke.
You said stroke. I like it. So Doran had a stroke. Other than your enunciation, which goes on beyond just the singing, I didn't have. That's all the feedback I had for the nitpicks.
Okay.
Shane, did you have any comments?
It was pretty good. One thing I would recommend a couple times do these amazing titanic attacks. Kind of describe that more because they did something really big and really cool and make a big story thing about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it really good?
Dan.
So, at the very beginning here, I'm gonna have to agree with John that it did feel a bit open-ended, and that's one of the reasons why I was taking a look at my character and I saw, this is a motivation that I can use to, I think to gather everyone, and that did lead me to, unfortunately, dominate a bit, but I did that primarily because it felt really open-ended. You ask, you're in town, what do you do?
I usually ask, I usually don't ask what do you do, I ask who do you go up to, or do you go up to anyone?
So, I would, for this group coming up Wednesday, I would be really hesitant. So here's the problem, they can get bored very quickly. And if you just give them open-ended, go do what you want, they don't really know what to do. This is always the problem with me. Now, once you have experienced gamers, it's that's fine, especially if the characters are established. But when you're first starting out, and especially with this group, they will get bored in 5 minutes. You will lose them very quickly. I would highly recommend that you use, with them especially, the list option of only 2 to 3 choices, generally 2 choices. They are welcome to ask if they can do additional things, of course. But keep it to, do you want to do this or this? And do the branching at first while they get through their training wheels. And move it along that way. Railroad the heck out of them to get them started so that they get to the adventure. They will they'll know about this opportunity in Woodland Town that they can come back to later and roleplay and more once they've got their bearings. That's the only problem with this starting adventure for new players is if they're not experienced gamers, it's a little problematic, so it's up to the GM to narrow those choices down to 2 or 3, really 2 if you keep there. And then if they want to do others, go, yeah, that's fine. Let them take the initiative if they wish. But really, really, really don't do you said, what do you want to do? And that was what you said. I wrote down like, ooh, that could go on all day. And with some people, they'll think, well, that will be your entire session.
So what he said, he took the lead because he saw something on his character sheet.
Yes.
So are they going to be given the opportunity to read their character sheet before you start so they kind of know?
Oh, that was one of my notes I forgot to mention. Was that to encourage them to be reading their character sheets while you're describing this setting, scenario of everything? Or do it earlier.
Yeah, don't do it at the same time or they'll tune out one or the other. Don't do it at the same time. Once the gameplay where you're taking turns is underway, then you can let them catch up. But while you're narrating, don't have them do that or they won't hear you.
Okay.
Especially because some of these kids have different LDs and stuff.
So it's been a long time since you've seen me DM.
I had one other thing. Yes. I don't know. Hold on, give me a sec. Moving up. Sorry. Some of the descriptions that you're doing, I don't know if you're using non-visual descriptions.
Smell, hearing,
other senses other than visual.
Okay.
I mean, I heard the visual ones, but I wanted to know.
Nope, I didn't do any smell or.
I mean, I know that I need to work on
Not
that as
until
well.
the pig.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I feel that you were just kind of getting the flow of things. Is that everything? Yeah. So, as being, I played in games with you, and in the very beginning when you came onto this, I was around to see how you were learning this and starting to do it. That's part of why I asked how many times and how well you knew the material. Because I wish I could come up with a better positive way of saying it, but it doesn't really quite seem that you've grown in this particular
You're
module.
reading, yesterday and today, your reading seems like you're reading it for the first time.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Personally, I don't like modules. I just don't like them. Never have. I do much better personally is just going to play. But as being something that you've done maybe a dozen times.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
I'll just start with dyslexia.
Sure.
So she
Yeah.
understands.
Sure.
I don't. A lot of the
understand.
time, I feel like I'm flipping things, so I never trust myself with how.
Right. So that's the problem is the lack of self-trust is coming across as a lack of self-confidence. We talked about this before.
Yeah.
It's more important you come across confident than 100% accurate in the reading. So as long as you can read enough that you get the gist of it, you don't have to read it word for word as long as you get the important parts out so that you can read it more confidently. I
Unlike
think that's
playing
what's
against
tripping you up.
me, who knows the module as well as I do, they don't know.
Yeah.
And all they're going to care is that they got a good story.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I just.
But you gotta come across
If you
more
know,
confidently.
if you know the material, Danielle, which you do, you confidently know the material, and I know that at some point it comes more natural, but in this sense,
You gotta believe
I would
in
have said
yourself.
I would have liked to see you fake it,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
just it doesn't really matter. Just
Yeah.
say, hey, you're at this city, you know,
The confidence is more important than accurately reading the text.
or just even
And I
give
know
us
you can do it
part.
because I've seen you when you do wing it, and you come across more confident. Then.
I would say just give us part of the information that you're more comfortable with, rather than reading it word for word.
And you played this
That
enough
was-
that you won't miss too much.
And that was really my thing. I'm not trying to say it's negative, but it just I would have liked to seen you just kind of wing it and go with it, instead of just reading word for word and stuff. Also, something I did address in the tech portion of it. We had kind of forgotten when Hawk left. We had basically forgot about Shane. We didn't even know if he was there. If
We have
he
a
was
blank screen in front of us,
participating.
so we don't know.
We had no
That's fine, but
idea.
he's not playing.
I know, but he
He
was
was
there as
observing.
part. We didn't know in the middle if he was still even there.
Oh, okay.
Or if it was something that we needed to be concerned about, we weren't. As far as like, we had no idea if he was there or not.
Okay.
Establishing a marching order as far as like when we were coming into combat,
Yeah.
it just kind of like we just dropped and was like, there's the combat. I didn't really know because it would have given more order to the introduction of this combat if we had known how we were walking. Because all of a sudden, I mean, if we were walking shoulder to shoulder or single file, I had no idea. And we were just it just was like dropped combat.
I know she
stumbled
stumbled
across
intense.
I did.
Did
She
you?
did.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
I took him down.
All right, must have
I've already got.
It was
I missed the
established
combat scene,
when
so-
we
Okay.
rolled initiative.
Yes.
But as far
Nothing
as we were,
before.
as far as we were coming into this, I would have liked to known, you know, or would have been nice to give the person in the lead or whoever's in the front, they noticed it.
Yeah.
You know, giving them an opportunity. So even if unless we were in that clearing and then they surprise attacked us, then that's what I felt like it was.
Well, that's actually the way it's written.
Well,
is
it's that you
they're
come out.
trying to do a surprise attack,
Yeah.
and you're supposed to be caught off guard in the thing. If
But marching orders is critical for that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, marching order, even when there's no combat.
Yep.
Marching order is definitely important. Because if a landslide happens or a tree falls, you get an order people on it. So, I just wanted on the list, just two options. Write it down in your notes.
Okay.
Write it down because I brought this up before. So write in your introductory notes. Only give two choices.
Okay.
Because we brought this up before about what you want to do.
Yeah.
So write that down. Even
And
if
that's
it's a post-it or
something I've been
something.
doing recently, which is weird that I've all of a sudden started going, what do you do?
Yeah. So watch that.
one of my suggestions for those options are the wood carver.
Yep.
Don't make that an option. Have him approach them.
But he's a salesman. He's looking for clients.
Then give your options. Do you want to talk to the mutton salesman for provisions, or do you want to talk to Heva for some
Exactly.
advice?
Exactly.
You got now. There's your two options, and you've eliminated the wood carver, who's necessary as an option by having him approach them.
And that way you don't have to keep nudging them until they get there. If it's important, do that. Make it happen.
Yep.
Make it so.
If anything, also, if you're using Heva as advice, part of the advice from Heva is you may want to go take a look at the woodcarver. He made something interesting.
Yeah.
So you can have Heva lead to the woodcarver.
And I've been doing Heva as she is sitting at the edge of the market green on the way that you're leaving. So you have to pass by her. This is your last chance to ask for advice.
Anything else, Jacob? Rebecca, I know you're new to this. You're not required, but if you have anything you want to say.
Yeah, I mean, mostly just what's been said along, like the reading, just making it more, like fluid.
Yeah.
So sometimes it was hard to follow along pronunciation.
I wasn't looking at you. When you were reading down here, or did you pick up the paper? And
I
read
was
over?
reading down here
Yeah,
again.
she was reading verbatim as though it was her first time.
Well, I understand. But as far as her being heard and enunciating, I mentioned
Volume
before,
was okay.
pick up your head
Yeah,
and hop over the screen.
As far as that goes, though, her volume was okay. So that,
I always
that was
keep
fine.
my
I'm not
chin
gonna
up
start,
when
I don't know.
when I
This
look
was
down.
fine.
I keep my chin up.
Good, perfect.
So I've always done that when I'm reading,
Yeah.
especially from the "No Thank You Evil"
I was
text.
saying,
Shane, anything else you wanted to say?
No, most things I think we have pretty well covered. And I said the thing that I will, overall, pretty good job. I mean, for me, not even playing was actually kind of everybody interacted, so I actually kind of had fun on all this.
Good. Danielle,
Oh,
the only person, now I may have missed it because I was in and out, the only person I heard voicing was Dan. That includes you.
I was
Did you
voicing.
voice?
Yeah, she did some voices.
Okay, so I must have missed it.
Several.
Because at the beginning you didn't. With the woodsman and stuff, there wasn't a distinct voice
I
there.
tried to do lower voice
Okay, it wasn't. Make it more distinctive. Make it more
Yeah, the wood
distinctive.
carver was way down here.
Okay,
Or
it didn't
Adelaide.
stand out as much as it could have. I've heard you do it
And
before with
so
more
did
distinctive
old
voices.
Ingrid. Old Ingrid. She had a.
See if you can make those pop a little more. Remember our voice workshop? How
Yeah.
we got really distinctive voices?
Mhm.
The subtle differences, people aren't going to really pick up.
Okay.
Go for really dramatic, distinctive, different voices. They're going to remember those.
Okay.
They're going to have a visual association and olfactory if that ties in, you know, if it's a stinky character or whatever, if you get a really distinctive voice. So really write down, remember the variables we did in the workshop? For each of those characters, write down those variables.
And we discussed our variables
we
last
discussed
night.
that
We went
yesterday.
through each character.
Okay, but really dramatically enhance those.
Okay.
It's more
If
fun.
you're thinking you're doing too much, you're almost there.
Okay. Well, and I was just like,
And I didn't. Did
Sorry, I had
anybody else do voicing besides Dan? I didn't catch anybody else voicing.
I didn't know my character well enough as
Okay.
far as the way I've
I'm not really.
wrote him out in my head or established my link with this character
Okay.
to really go.
Figure out what it is. Okay, John.
I did a voice, but it was fairly subtle because he's just a halfling. He's not a.
Yeah, but you can do that. Like I said, I mean,
Yeah.
they tend to be.
I'm
more
not a
serious,
leprechaun.
actually. I'm not being Irish or anything. It's just different. So.
He just has lucky charms, that's all.
Okay. One thing that might help you on the song is you don't have to sing it. If you're
Okay.
not comfortable singing it, do it more like a poem, but do it with a
I'm not-
strong guttural dwarf voice.
okay, I feel like when I sing it, it's not that bad. So I don't have a problem singing it. Does it
If you-
come across
it's
as I
more-
have a problem
well,
singing it?
because you were mispronouncing stuff, it's more important that you sing it accurate. Or
I only mispronounced one thing, and I think
No,
that was
no, no,
because
no.
of
Doran
the
Door-
folk was.
yeah,
Yeah.
there were a number of things that
His folk stood out most because
Yeah.
it was so often.
it'd be better to read it as a poem than to sing it, but do it as a guttural dwarf voice.
Okay.
And do it accurately. For the song, it's a little bit of a clue thing. It's a cultural clue thing, but it's still.
Yeah.
It's more important that you do that accurately. And with this group, I probably wouldn't sing it.
Okay.
I would go with the poem thing.
Would it be too much of a cheat to give her the recording of your singing? Because I have that. I have
If
that.
you want to, I don't. Not the greatest.
Don't get shy about it. The question is it okay to play a recording?
Yes, if you want to use it, go ahead and use it. That's
Okay.
fine.
I will send you that when I get home. Please
Okay.
remind me.
But otherwise, failing that, just do it more as a poem, but guttural.
Guttural.
Read it like this as a dwarf who's singing, you know, but it's your poem instead. So it seemed like you did a really good job with your turns. Like you did good turn management, so you said that roster really helped you with that. I missed most of the combat. How was the combat flow?
We annihilated them.
Well, yeah, I mean, as far as the GMing side of it, how did you do on that? I missed most of that. Was it smooth? Did you keep the pacing going on?
I think that went okay.
Okay, good.
There was a little confusion of the terrain
Okay.
because
It was the beginning. I just kind of dropped them in instead of giving.
Okay. Yeah, so that lead up was a little bit challenging.
and an explanation of the terrain. You had to be prompted about the tree, and you didn't say anything about the fact that if you go through the bushes instead of going through the open area, that it's going to be harder terrain.
That they can kind of learn as they go.
But it didn't happen. People were moving through terrain without any.
No, she said it was double move.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
I caught that
Okay.
one.
And then the only time I
Yeah.
didn't mention it is when you got into the train, and I was just you didn't want to go far, so I didn't
Yeah.
mention it.
Yeah,
So
okay. No, I think she handled that fine.
Right.
That part.
Also, I don't know if you did this on purpose because we were basically on a trend of just really rolling bad. But the first couple of turns with the goblins, they didn't seem nearly as engaged. For example, you only moved up one.
yeah. So
and
I
I will-
usually move up one, and then I roll, and then for the bow because the bow is less powerful, and usually 2 or 3 of them hit, and I rolled
You
like
were trying not to TPK the party.
I rolled like 5s.
Yeah, That's why I meant as far as the
It was-
comment for the flow of this,
Yeah.
we annihilated them because they
Yeah,
failed.
you were lucky.
They were-
They
they-
showed us, we knocked them down. That was it.
They
Next.
failed so bad that I gave them a couple of pity hits so that it didn't look like they weren't hitting you.
And that's why
Okay, but it felt like you were taking pity on us.
And
No, I was taking pity on the goblin.
So then it rolls the other way. So that's fine. Okay. Cool. Yeah, because she's not John. Then
I'm not John. I don't, well, I do TPK. My first time I did TPK.
She did.
yes, she did.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, I think is that useful feedback for
Yeah.
you? Good. You're getting there. The main thing is stepping up to the confidence thing, having more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the material there. Now you just got to believe in yourself a little more strongly that you can do this, because you can.
I can do this.
You totally can.
I just always double check myself as far as like
Yes,
what's
and You're holding
happening.
yourself back.
Yeah.
And you can take it to the next level if you push past that.
Mhm.
And you can do it. You'll get there. Soon. Very soon.
Very soon,
Like the
like
next session.
like Wednesday.
Just picture the pig at the in the cave, that massive pig that they're roasting.
Yeah.
Climb it up.
All right.
I want this memorized by Wednesday.
Well, I'm almost there. I've ran it what? I think 4 times in the last week, 3 times in the last week.
And after Wednesday, I think we'll run the second half of the thing a couple
Yeah,
times
usually
before.
we'll go through the first one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thanks, Shane, for your feedback and observation there. And so our next broadcast is tomorrow, 11 a.m. is our new researchers meeting. So we have Tuesday, 9 a.m. researchers meeting. We now have a Sunday, 11 a.m. researchers meeting. But then after that evening is Heroes of the Mist from 6 to 9 p.m. And then Monday we'll be back for, is it theory or applied this week?
Theory.
Okay.
On Monday?
Because it was applied this Monday.
Okay.
Thursday we played.
No, Thursday John did the lesson.
Thursday, John lectured.
Oh,
So I think it is theory.
It is theory on the 4th.
yeah.
It is applied on Thursday. Coming up on the 7th.
So it's gonna be my turn to do the theory lecture.
Same one I gave?
That's the question. Well, it'll kind of depend on who shows up, because I can wing it either way. So I gotta get more materials uploaded for you for your next lecture. And then Thursday is applied gaming. We don't have anybody assigned for that Thursday. What do we have for the Thursday, John? What are you planning to run? Since you're doing Thursdays now.
Yeah.
Applied gaming,
Yeah,
We
I
can
really
run
like
through the
this.
second half of this meet.
We can do that, or we really need to start going on the superhero analysis. We've got like half.
you said you didn't want to do that without you present.
Oh, that's true. Good point. Good point.
So that'll be on
All right,
Monday.
so you're gonna run the second half of
Sure.
this.
I can run the second half of this.
You guys.
Unless
implement
anybody
that?
else needs to have some training or something.
Okay. Okay.
The two
Trying
hit and
to-
miss.
Yeah. Well, if you're able to, you're welcome
You
at
need to run
6 to
something?
9 on Thursday. So it would be a continuation of this one.
I do need to run things, but I think it's more important right now that you finish up this and you do
Okay.
superheroes.
Let's go ahead and get the second half of Adventures in Middle Earth from the camp.
Yeah. I know how to run the smoke rings. It's probably my favorite part of it.
No, I would start from after we go to bed.
Yeah.
And then working your way through that. Remember, the social part of those scenes are very important up till the final encounter. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else?
That's it. Everybody,
Housekeeping?
have a great day. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you guys. So glad you two could make it. And hope we'll see more of you.
Have you gotten on the RPGSN? Have you gotten on our social network?
Thanks for joining us, Shane. Take care.
I just get all the emails, so I know what's going on.
Okay, yeah. We have a social network, and we're gonna move off of Discord onto the social network.
Yeah, so rpgsn.net, and I've been sending emails about that as well. You should have an invite actually to log into it.
I think I do. I just
Yeah.
have to look.
It's basically like our own private Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, but without any of the spam or because it's our servers, it's not
Gotcha.
on theirs. And it has chat room, forum, timeline, and blog all in one place. So we're hoping we can consolidate. Right now we're scattered across so many things.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up on
Exactly. So once the
Okay.
see if you log into your account, you get
Yes.
automatic email notifications all from one
that.
place.
Gotcha.
And so it's scattered.
Yeah.
So we recently,
The issue
I think Drake might have told you, we actually, one of my roommates moved out, and we were able to turn one of my larger rooms into just a plain old reading room.
Oh, nice.
And we're able to get it pretty well established. Our tables aren't as big as this one, but we have enough. We seat 7 relatively comfortable
Nice.
without having. And we've been trying to branch out. We just recently started playing Starfinder.
Okay. Right.
And Starfinder is relatively new, and Paizo has been doing a weekly discussion with the different creators, editors, etc.,
Yep.
so that you can know the lore from the people who created the lore.
Cool.
And we've also been playing 3.5. Ryan's been doing an amazing job. We've been doing a Tuesday group. He came up with a thing called the Sky Whales, and it ended up turning into more or less a house party. But we had a game with 8 people. It was crazy. We did a little too much drinking that one, but we've been doing. Ryan has been reading and then writing his own stuff, and he's been doing a phenomenal job.
Good. That's awesome.
Doing it. Rebecca she's actually the one who taught us to play Starfinder. We wanted to play
cool.
it, and so
Ran
part of-
one shot. It's like a free RPG day module.
Excellent.
She has been. We've been getting into podcasts, and there's different ones that run different campaigns, and they run modules, and they also there's 5th edition ones, and it has been tremendously helpful because it's full edited. They're more or less actors. Some of them do sound effects, and they run the modules. Rebecca had listened to. Did you listen to the Skittermitter one all the way through?
No, that one I didn't.
No. Okay. Well, Dave. It has been. Rebecca had never. At that point, we had never even played the game at all, and with the research she did and listened to a couple Starfinder podcasts, she taught us all in one thing.
Awesome.
We just got the books and we went at it, and it was did a
Excellent.
phenomenal job. I don't know if it was just a combination of how Rebecca learns things, but with listening to people play the game,
Yeah.
and some of them leave in some of the turns, so they're like, "Hey, roll your dice," because you can listen to several of them leave in the technical stuff, and some is just a straight story.
Right.
And it has been.
And the nice thing, well, I had presented that, but since everyone was new to it, no one played, I outlined everyone's feats. I put all the modifiers on a sheet. There's a lot of rules with Starfinder, it's with Pathfinder.
Yeah.
So just so we don't have to search through books, I made it so we could play all in a couple hours, line
Excellent.
everything out.
That's great.
It was,
I'm so glad.
especially with
The Sunday Baylor group is still a long ways to go to catch up to you guys.
Yeah.
They're about to leave the Druid's Tower, but what happened was, remember Drake's infection of Cthulhu to the Fae? Well, that bled through because that was all Fae. So the infected Fae tried to break in on the second day of the festivals, and they had to stop it from happening. So it disrupted the celebrations and their split of the multiverse.
Interesting.
So now they just left the Druid's Tower and headed into the blizzard, and they're about to run into Voton the Wanderer.
Gotcha.
Remember him, the eye patch.
Mm-mm. I
Um,
don't remember him.
it was right before the Crossroads.
Oh,
The deity.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
They're just about to do that tomorrow, and then they'll be at the Crossroads.
Nice.
And you remember what happens at the Crossroads? The Wood Elves, the Centaurs.
Oh, yeah.
and
The big war.
Northrons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what they should get to tomorrow. So they got a long ways to go. We're almost to episode 40. So getting there bit by bit.
Nice.
It's a very timid group.
It is. You guys guys avoided combat, but you weren't overly timid, and you guys role played with the towns. These guys, because almost all of them chose non-human, even though I warned them that would be problematic. They just basically avoided all the towns and houses, and just tried to avoid all the humans because of their non-human status.
Wow.
So they ended up just having a lot of miserable travel.
Okay.
And one guy got tired of it. He's like, I'm sick of this. There's prejudice and no heroism. This isn't any fun.
They told you.
You shouldn't have picked a gnome.
Jeez. Or at
Or at least
got
had a good disguise and stuff.
yeah,
exactly.
at least got the
So, and then he left right as it started to get where they ran into more interesting
Oh.
stuff. So, because once they got to the Fist of Cord, and Kasarnik, and then the Fist of Cord.
Yeah.
The Fist of Cord has been interesting. Now,
Well, and two of them became followers of Cord.
We all kind of did for ours.
Right, for all of you. But two of these players have done it. And then now they have. We had a guest player last week who was visiting. He was from Brazil visiting. And so he went ahead and joined as well. And so they're starting a multi-level marketing.
Nice.
there's a whole lot of.
But he threatened to have a schism. To make it more about emotional strength rather than physical
Oh,
strength.
jeez. Wow.
Well, honestly, he had 18 double lock, so he had no more.
Right, he already had 18 con and 18 double strength, so he didn't get any benefit from the exercises.
And which system are you guys playing with it?
ADD first edition. So, yeah,
So I had an idea for you.
Yeah.
With
Well, I'm so glad you made it.
topics
It's really good to see you
when you're
again.
reading.
I'm glad you're
It's something that I can message whenever
Yeah, Discord is, except for the public channels, most are going to go away. I'll keep the Google volunteer group list going
Instead
for a
of
while.
just reading,
But we're trying
I
to
treat
bring
the
over social
narrator
network
as a full
to
character.
try to get all in.
So
Two
instead of saying like
the
the
public
dialogue
and the
is
private.
like, okay,
And if I
my
get too
wolf is
involved
saying
into
this,
one, I will.
he wouldn't, unless his character is speaking in the third person, he's not going to talk in the third person. So like, took ownership of it.
But it's good to know
and
that the emails
used
were
to
good
box
for you.
text
Yeah.
as notes instead of what I'm supposed to be reading.
Okay.
And that comes off a lot more natural. So I don't know.
I mean,
Not
I
that
think Thursday.
if you treat it as a character and you do a more subtle voice, just for like projecting it, it's a. You know, I find that helps with the not falling off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I see that.
Yeah.
I would. Yeah, I'll try and think about it like that when I'm writing it